I think it was like 5 or 6 years old when I knew I just loved cars. I've liked 37 Fords forever, and this was just fulfilling that dream. The truck behind me is my everyday driver, but I've always personalized my cars. Built a real nice Harley trike back in the 70s. After that, got into a Porsche. That was really a fun car. Went through the four-wheel thing. It's a 37 Ford Coupe. Body was made by Minotti, and chassis TCI chassis out of Ontario, California. It's got a big block engine, 425 horsepower, crate motor. The car has an enormous amount of power. Know exactly what you want to get into. You have to build something that you're going to have to be able to put your chair into. Whether it be in the trunk if you want to have a passenger all the time, or that you're able to, have an area inside the passenger compartment that you can throw your chair in if you're alone. But other than that, it's just like buying a vehicle, whatever fits you, your likes and your needs.
Before you invest in the cost of a car, try to get in a rental car and drive it around and see how it works. There's basic transportation. There are companies out there you can lease vehicles. You can lease vans with lifts in them. There's a publication called The Disabled Dealer, a perfect example of people selling their own cars that have been adapted for disabilities. Look around, use your creative thinking, and enjoy the process. Don't feel like you have to rush into something right away. Take your time and get a car that matches who you are. Okay, the car is a 1967 Mustang Convertible. This car has always treated me well, and basically it's been a lot of fun over the years. Getting around, being active, hopping in and out of my car, it's all part of my lifestyle, but it's also part of my fitness program. You'll be able to put the top down, let the wind blow through your beautiful thick hair like mine was back in 1980 when I had this car from the beginning, and enjoy the experience. It's really a lot of fun.
2003 H2 Hummer, and I was just tired of driving minivans. I wanted something a little different. Something that was a little more fun. I do a lot of work in the construction trades with clients, and I didn't want to get stuck anywhere visiting job sites. And I also love to ski, so it was a vehicle that could get me into the mountains, never worried about getting stuck, and I could easily fit my chair in and out the passenger door. I'm a T4 paraplegic, bilateral AK amputee. I remember vividly being in the hospital 2 months after I got hurt, and being upset because I didn't think I could transfer in and out of a Saab. You can really transfer in and out of anything. It's just a matter of technique and a little bit of engineering. Your imagination is an amazing thing, and there's tons of different ways to work around little problems. I've driven everything from big Cadillacs to small minivans and everything in between. My big concern was being able to get in and out. I was 6'8", so I was a big guy. I always wanted not to bump my head getting in and out and have a lot of room to get the chair in and out. Well, I was lucky enough to find somebody who was willing to experiment a little bit with the truck once I bought it. I came up with the idea of hinging the door up and swinging an arm out, and we came up with some pretty inventive fixes to make it much more accessible for me. Okay, to get in and out, I just open the door like normal. Got a little lever on the inside here that releases a latch, and the passenger door swings up like a gull wing. I've got a little step here that folds up and down. I transfer up here, put my right hand up on the roof rack, pull myself up, reach around, and then the chair just lifts right up with the assist of a small little brown motor. Grab the door, swing it down, put the step up, drive away.
1963 Studebaker Avanti. This is a project Some people have boats. I have cars. I like unique things. I like artistry. A lot of unique features on this car to the 1960 era. At the time, it held the land speed record for 19 years. This is called a gun sight ornament. You can focus down this hood line and down this line and down the road. So it keeps your eyeballs focused on the center of the road while you're exceeding the legal speed limit. First year or two of injury, other people drove, and there wasn't cars out there with hand controls that I could immediately try. So when I did try out something with hand controls, I was hook, line, and sinker. I had to get a car, find a way to get into a vehicle. Do it as soon as possible. Gives you a sense of freedom, gets you out there doing things of interest to yourself, gets you off the couch, gets you off the sidewalk, gets you into sporting activities that you probably wouldn't have done unless you could drive to.
This is the shop where we do the fitting on the vehicles for our individual clients, and we also do service and repair here. We would install lifts like this in full-size vans, power doors, transfer seats, hand controls, all that. In the minivans, it's typically we're either putting a transfer seat in for someone to drive or automatic tie-down. Some of the minivans have rear access and others have side access. Difference being that a rear access van is much easier to use in a parking lot, but it's really set up for someone to ride as a passenger. It doesn't lend itself for driving. This is a new Toyota Sienna. The seat automatically rotates, translates out through the door opening, and then will drop down to the level of the wheelchair. The Scion is a new product that it's kind of a niche product because it's small, and it will allow someone who's relatively short to fit in a compact little vehicle. It's also a lot less expensive than a full-size van. This particular Scion's equipped with a transfer driver's seat. If your wheelchair's in the back here, you can bring the driver's seat back and up to the level of the wheelchair, and then it will swivel around, put you next to the chair, and you basically just slide over into the chair and roll out the ramp. This is a Dodge Sprinter van. It has a flat floor and it has a lot of headroom in it. The door opening on this particular model, which is the low top, the rear and side door openings are 60 inches tall, even though it's probably more expensive initially for the vehicle. The modifications aren't as great because we're not lowering the floor or raising the roof. Another big advantage of the van is that because the floor's level, you can have the lift in the rear or in the side door.
Well, I was first injured in 1980. It was caused by a vehicle accident. And at first I was a little intimidated to get back behind the wheel. It's a freedom issue, you know. You get it makes you're able to go where you want to go, and not really feel tied down to any one thing. Right now, my main vehicle I'm driving is this. It's a Buick Terrazza in an 05. I've actually owned about 8 different vehicles. Minivans, full-size vans, classic cars. I've wanted a panel truck ever since I was in high school. So when I first purchased it, I just basically put a transfer seat in it, and I used it that way for a couple of years. Got tired of doing the transfers, got a hold of Scott, talked him into dropping the floor, which I think he's regretting now because it's been such an ongoing project,
Seeing someone who came into our facility and didn't have the independence or mobility he or she wanted, and working with that individual to overcome those needs and find and build products that will give that client the mobility he or she's looking for is very rewarding for me.
It will improve your life tremendously. It helps a lot with self-esteem. issues. Not having to depend on someone to taxi you around is great. I've traveled all over the country, back east, Mexico, up to Canada. I keep the roads hot.